Ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 vehicles parked out front that need to be removed from a parking spot with a fire lane.
So, Brian, he used to work for Easton in the hockey division.
Oh, yeah,
He was like a rep for them. So he was immersed in the NHL. He'd be like a hockey stick rep for guys. So every now and then he'll just drop like an old like enforcer's name, like an old guy that was just a brawler.
Player intros at tip-off less than 5 minutes away.
All right, looks like we're going with it, huh?
Yeah, I think we're just let it fly.
All right.
Allison, Henry. Oh, yeah, pronunciations. Ready, Dougie?
Yes, sir.
Hunter Marks, Malik Ellison, Roman Boxes, Moses Flowers, DJ Henry, Miroslav Stoffel, Tracy Carter, DJ Mitchell, Michael Dunn, Nikola Cholovich.
Cholovich?
Cholovich.
Okay.
Yep.
I-T-C-H or
Yeah,
Solovic?
Vitch.
Vitch.
Yep.
Right.
I-T-C-H.
Okay. Matt Hobbs, Keith Sullivan.
And then we've got Peter Stepanyans.
Okay.
Number 45, Stepanyans. He hasn't played in a while.
Okay. What's Sullivan's number?
Sullivan is 33.
Okay.
You won't be able to miss it. He'll be the 7-2 guy.
Sure, all right, pal.
Good.
He's like me. All right, good. You send those to me?
America East, the NCAA, and Binghamton University encourage
Yeah, all right, good.
sporting conduct
The head shining.
coaches and spectators. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the site of competition. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and the officials in a positive manner. Thank you. and gentlemen, please direct your attention to center court for a special recognition. Last week against Stony Brook, sophomore guard Sam Sessom scored 22 points to eclipse the 1,000-point career mark in just his 57th collegiate game. In the process, he became just the 7th player in the 41-year history of the American East to reach the 1,000-point mark as a sophomore. Already number 4 on the school's Division I era scoring list, Sessoms is on pace to become the program's all-time scoring leader by the end of his junior season, and is also on pace to surpass the 2,000-point mark by the time he graduates from Binghamton. Head coach Tony Dempsey and director of athletics Patrick Elliott will now present Sam with a commemorative basketball. Congratulations, 1,000-point scorer Sam Sessom. Unbelievable.
Look at these guys.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Dr. Hiley Court at the Event Center on the campus of Binghamton University for Senior Day and this afternoon's American East Conference showdown between the Hartford Hawks and your Binghamton University Bearcats. At this time, we ask you to kindly please rise if you are able. Remove your hats and join our players and coaches as we honor America and all of the brave men and women serving our country with the playing of our national anthem. Presenting the colors at center court this afternoon are members of the Binghamton University kick line, Cub Scout Pack 244 and Baxter. And now to perform our national anthem, please welcome Louis G., Dick Merrill, and Tony Godoy.
Okay, buddy, let's do this one more time. He's big.
Yeah. But he doesn't play a lot of defense. He's only got 11 blocks. The playoff picture continues to take shape. Today in Vestal, the Bearcats look to get in. The Hawks look to move up. For the final time from the Southern Tier this season, this is America East Basketball on ESPN3. Alongside my good pal, Doug Walsh, I'm Tim Hyman. And as we settle in on Senior Day, Doug, the Bearcats knew they would need both games this weekend. They got one on Thursday night. Now can they keep it rolling today?
Yeah, at the start of this week, they needed 2 of 3 of the last 4. They got 1. With the next 2 on the road, they'd love to get this one to make those road trips have a little less pressure on them.
Hartford sits in 4th. If they have a good finish to the season, they could capture a possible 2 seed as we get a look at both Pierre Sarr and Richard Caldwell Jr. being honored before today's game. The Bearcats has been well documented. They sit currently in 9th, a half game behind Maine. The Black Bears hold the tiebreaker over Binghamton. They need a strong finish to get a playoff berth.
Yeah, both teams are in dire need of a win. Binghamton still fighting for their playoff lives, and Hartford safely in the playoffs, fighting for that higher seed.
Hartford graduated all 5 seniors last year. It was almost 90% of their scoring. They knew they needed to add some age. They did. In came Malik Ellison, and there went their record.
Yeah, grad transfer adds a little of everything to the Hawks game. Making a case for America East Player of the Year. He averages a double-double with 18 and 11 in the conference. He defends. He's got a soft mid-range jumper. He can post people up. He's a matchup nightmare for the opponents.
He's got the most points on Hartford's roster and still missed 10 games in the season. As for Binghamton, Sam Sessoms came through in a big way. 39 points on Thursday. They'll need just as much today.
Yeah, coming off that performance, he's not relying on the long ball as much of late. Excellent taking people off the dribble. He facilitates. He finishes in traffic against the bigs. And he hits a lot of clutch baskets when Binghamton needs them.
A 39-point effort and a 40-point effort, highlighting Sessoms' season this year. Can he and the Bearcats get over the hump and keep it rolling? He and Ellison, tonight's Vision's Federal Credit Union players to watch. The Bearcats huddle up, their last home game of the season. Now they're hoping to keep the good times rolling as they look to capture the 8th spot currently occupied by the Maine Black Bears. We take a look at tonight's BAE Systems starting lineup. We already hit up on Ellison, but he's one of 3 grad transfers. Another guy, Tracy Carter, a LaSalle product, has also played a huge role for Hartford.
And as you said, they have to replace 89% of their offense. They lost a lot of guys with Lynch and Blago and Wetherington. They lost an awful lot of scoring, so these guys have to pick it up.
Binghamton, meanwhile, stopped a 6-game losing streak with a nail-biter of a win over UMass Lowell on Thursday. A quick turnaround for both sides. Binghamton earned the 2-point win 2 days ago. Hartford was in Durham 2 days ago. Flew here yesterday and are hoping to step out of a recent funk. The Hawks have lost back-to-back, and Malik Ellison goes to work. More than 18 points per game. And here's Carter off the mark. Senior Richard Caldwell Jr. playing in front of family. Takes off with it and coasts in for his first bucket.
Now, the senior going to try to make the last day here memorable.
Playing in front of his mom for the first time on this floor in his Bearcat career. Carice making the trip with other members of the family. Always special on Senior Day. They'll go inside. Miroslav Stoffel won't go. Binghamton wants to run with it. Tommy Dempsey wants to see an up-tempo attack in transition.
Well, you saw Caldwell defending down there against the big fella Stoffel.
Precisely the start Tommy Dempsey wanted to see. Points from guys not named Sam Sessoms or George Tinsley.
Well, they can't keep relying on Sam Sessoms to get you 30, 40 points every night, so a lot of other guys are going to have to contribute.
Dempsey pointed to Caldwell as that first guy on the list. Enter him and then Mills.
Yep, the 2 guys that he wanted to get involved early, they got the first 2 baskets.
Now here's Sam Sessoms. He's Binghamton's leading scorer, 18 points per game, good enough for 3rd in the conference. The fastest player in Bearcat history to 1,000. Can Pierre Sarr keep it rolling? He cannot. Rebound hauled in by the freshman Moses Flowers. And now Ellison, who's so dangerous, moving towards the rim. This will stay with Hartford. Take a look at our keys to the game.
You know, Hartford has had more success when they share the ball and get everyone touches on the offensive possessions. And I look for them to establish either Ellison or Stoffel on the block inside, going 4 out and 1 in. For Binghamton, they rely on the long ball as much as Binghamton does. You need to shoot a good percentage, maybe 40% or better today. On Thursday versus UMass Lowell, they had 10 steals. They forced 16 turnovers, mostly by everybody helping on the defensive end.
Ellison cutting through, won't go. Hartford has missed their first 4. Mills, Saar to the rack, denied and hammered. Saar back to his feet. That could have been a scary moment.
Yeah, that was scary.
That's a whole lot of body going down to the floor.
Well, you know, both teams, this is a playoff atmosphere. I got to check that. You have to check everyone. It's a hard foul. You have to see if there's anything malicious there. But, you know, we used to play. There was no easy baskets. Nobody got an easy one. Nobody got a free one. It brings back the days of remember the Lakers and the Celtics when they knocked Rambus down. And you don't get, when it's playoff time, and this is almost playoff time, you don't give up any easy baskets.
John Gallagher stressed this to his Hawks coming into this one. He said these last 3 games are going to be playoff games. Hartford knows they're in. They're in a pretty good position to get a home quarterfinal game, but that's not enough for the Hawks. They want to climb up and get a potential to get that 2 seed.
Right, yeah, you can't get to number 1. Vermont's got that locked up, but Stony Brook controls their own destiny at 2. However, if they slip up, anybody, Albany, this team, Hartford, could slide up, maybe get into that 2 slot.
Taking a look to just make sure that everything's well and good. But for the Hawks, they've watched a couple of the games recently slip away. John Gallagher still stung by a late lead lost against Vermont, suffering a 1-point defeat. They lost a lead against UMass Lowell in a game they'd love to have back. As Gallagher put it, this is a Hartford team that's playing with a chip on their shoulder tonight.
Yeah, and they were up late in the New Hampshire game the other night too, and they couldn't make fouls, and New Hampshire did. So they've been having trouble closing games out.
There was no further penalty assessed on Moses Flowers, simply a common foul. Saar goes 1 of 2. And here come the Hawks offense that goes to work.
Yeah.
Second worst offense in the conference, under 66 points per game. And they turn it over. Caldwell.
You see a painful expression on Blake Ellison's face after he threw that pass. He knew as soon as he threw it, it was going down the other end for a dunk.
Richard Caldwell Jr. in his final game on this floor. Off to a good start. Ellison the cut and the finish.
I see Binghamton zone now. You're going to see some zone tonight from both squads. That time a little 3-2 zone by Binghamton, but Ellison got into the paint.
The defense has evolved for Binghamton. A lot of man and non-conference play. They've switched more to that matchup zone, as Tommy Dempsey calls it, in America East action. Sessoms the lead to Saar. A beauty assist for Sam Sessoms.
Boy, what great vision. He knew that Saar had his man beat to the basket. He threw the wraparound pass past the defender.
127 assists for Sessoms, best in the conference. Pierre Saar called for the block on Ellison. This will be a big theme, Doug. They cannot afford to have Pierre Saar rack up fouls early in this game.
Yeah, he continually gets into foul trouble, and they need him on the floor late in the ball game. And you also need him on. You can't play tentatively. If you have foul trouble, you play a little tentatively.
There's John Gallagher. Last season, putting a bow on 2 outstanding years. 37 wins combined in the last 2 seasons for Hartford. The expectations were low for the Hawks. There were so many question marks when you lose 5 starters who had scored as much as they did. Yes, they brought in some top-notch talent, but you never know how that might translate. It's translated quite well.
Well, and late in the season now, they're becoming a little bit more comfortable with each other, too. That takes time when you have all new guys and grad transfers like they do. But they feel like they're playing their best ball in mid-February.
Ellison, dangerous everywhere, but off the mark. Sessoms the rebound. And that avoids contact from Hunter Marks. Caldwell to keep it rolling. He's got it. 7 out of the gate for the senior.
Well, as you said in talking to Coach Dempsey, you need to get off to a good start. 13-2 after 4 minutes. I'd say that's a pretty good start.
And a team controls foul. Miroslav Stoffel with a bit too much contact.
John Gallagher looking on in disbelief. You must stay set for a longer period nowadays while setting those screens. There's the 1-3-1 half court.
A touch of gold for Richard Caldwell Jr.
It seems as though Binghamton may have been ready for that 1-3-1 zone. They may have practiced a little something on that. That looked like it was a planned play. It's the first time they were going to see the zone.
A thing of beauty to watch that one develop from this angle.
That was. And you know, Tim, the key of that is it has to come from out deep. If you go in a little tighter, it's tougher to make that pass.
A start the Bearcats could only have dreamed of. 13-point lead, less than 4.5 minutes in. Saar, bang!
John Gallagher is waiting for the TV timeout. Not sure he can wait much longer if Binghamton should score again.
Binghamton's offense rolling. And neither Sessoms nor Tinsley has scored, and they're just fine with it. Another defensive stand. Caldwell. Tinsley with an offensive rebound. Sessoms dicing, kicking. Caldwell. Rebound Ellison.
Well, it's been exciting so far, the first 5 minutes, I'll say that.
Long range, Flowers off the mark. Hartford 1 for 8 from the floor.
I think they were in here practicing yesterday, weren't they?
Well, they had some issues getting here. According to John Gallagher, their flight got delayed to Binghamton. It's been a tough road trip for them and a tough road in general. Haven't had a bye week since 2 games deep into conference play.
Yeah, and they're not finished yet. They got to go on the road for one more before they get back to Hartford.
No easy task against Stony Brook. Sessoms with a beautiful finish. An 11-0 run to start it.
Binghamton playing pretty inspired here these first 5-6 minutes.
Caldwell tries to jump on Miroslav. Stoffel, poke free by Mills. Another chance for Caldwell. Waits and hits. Timeout Hartford. An eruption from the BU Bearcats. A start they'd waited all season for. And a well-timed outburst from a Bearcat team that's trying to fight its way into the postseason.
There's a source of wonder inside us all, and it's why we're always looking for new ways to make things better. Because at BAE Systems, our work is inspired by the wonder inside that's always been with us, propelling us, guiding us, and leading us to a place where we're part of something bigger, where we can look inside, glimpse the future, and protect what's truly important.
Suck Out Cancer is a unique program focused on providing financial support for individuals with cancer that have basic financial needs for items such as food, transportation to treatment, lodging, etc. Suck Out Cancer's multicolored socks symbolize the many forms of cancer.
The Farmer's Market, the perfect place to show Duncan is going plant-based with our great tasting Beyond Sausage Sandwich.
It tastes like a sausage.
Very surprising.
It's good.
I'm impressed. I cannot believe this is from Duncan.
Available nationwide.
How about the start for the BU Bearcats? Tommy Dempsey wanted to see others outside of Sessoms and Tinsley contribute. Well, it's been almost all of guys outside of Sessoms and Tinsley contributing. Doug, it's a 20-point Bearcat lead.
Now, sometimes emotion and adrenaline can help you. It certainly is helping everyone, including Richard Caldwell and Pierre Sarr. They are 7 of 10, and the team is 9 of 13. So just what the doctor ordered if you're Binghamton.
14 unanswered. Are you surprised it went that long before John Gallagher called the timeout?
Well, he was waiting for the TV timeout, and then he said, okay, I'll wait one more. And then he said, okay, I'll wait one more. And then he said, well, I can't wait any longer. That's it.
What sort of changes might the Hawks put in place after falling down by 20 this early?
Now, they put Michael Dunn in there. Maybe he could shoot a little bit.
Tracy Carter off balance, won't go. Here come the Bearcats again. Well, transition offense is built off of defensive stops, and there have been plenty of them for Binghamton. Sessoms carving up again. 16 in a row for Binghamton.
Well, on the offensive end, the first 5-6 possessions, they relied on Ellison a little bit, maybe too much because he was struggling. So now they have to get other people involved.
Now Ellison out to Michael Dunn, brother of former Hawk Jason Dunn, who scored almost 1,500 points in his career. Hunter Marks, no. Hawks struggles continue shooting the ball, now 1 of 10. Sessoms for Sarr.
Now, it's a clinic right now. It's an offensive clinic by Binghamton.
Binghamton has already surpassed their halftime total of points that they had last game against UMass Lowell.
And you see Hunter Marks, he'll look to start shooting some threes. Now, they don't like to shoot threes, but they may have to shoot them a little bit more today to get back in it.
Otis Flowers gets one to fall, the top scorer among freshmen for Hartford. More than 10 points per game.
And that gets them into the 1-3-1 half-court defense now, Hartford.
Tinsley found Sessoms. Brenton Mills has one already. Too strong that time. Second offensive rebound by Tinsley.
You notice, Tim, too, though, today, Binghamton's shooting a lot earlier in the possessions, a lot earlier in the shot clock.
Tinsley got a piece. Well, Tommy Dempsey knew that with this Hartford Hawks defense, they can grind you down in the half court. Dempsey looks to take that totally out of the equation. 22-point Bearcat lead. Everybody starting to feel it on the offensive end for the Bearcats. BU senior Richard Caldwell Jr. has always brought the energy, but it feels like he's raised his game in his last home game of his career.
Yeah, it's good to see him having a good day so far. He's done everything Coach Dempsey's asked for him to do the last couple of years. He's played defense, he's sat the bench, he's been the leader. He's sacrificed a lot for this club, and he's done a lot to help them win when they do win games. He scores when you need him to. He's a great defender. He rebounds. good to see him off to a good start.
And really, it was his defense that got him back in the starting lineup. The Bearcats had struggled so mightily defending. Caldwell was inserted as a regular starter in mid-January, and he's been in there ever since.
And I think, Tim, since then, and we talked about it before, the energy on the defensive end has picked up for Binghamton. It certainly picks up when he's in the lineup.
Here comes Don. The Hawks search for their first three-pointer. 0 for 4 from deep to start this one.
Now, you got to be careful if you're Hartford. You know, they're not they don't shoot a lot of threes, and now you're down like this. You think you may have to shoot threes. Not necessarily think it's that early enough to start doing that.
More from Richard Caldwell Jr. I'll put it this way for Hartford. The points have not come that easily. Second lowest offensive production. If you're a team like that, how difficult is it to fight that urge to fire away?
Well, and the more you start missing, the more pressure you start to feel. You think, oh, I got to make this one. This one's got to go down. Tinsley with a bump. Yeah, you start feeling a little bit more pressure. You start trying to be a little bit too perfect, and it doesn't work out for you.
But a perfect storm against Hartford. Binghamton has been stellar finishing, while Hartford has not had their shots fall. They're just 2 of 12.
Yeah, and you got to credit the defense by Binghamton. That, you know, every shot of Hartford has, well, one was pretty easy, but the rest of them have been pretty difficult. So good defense by Binghamton thus far. But, you know, we've seen a lot of strange things happen here. We're only 9 minutes into the game, so we got a long way to go.
Sure, the eyes of the conference on this game. Everyone else playing later tonight. Sure, the Maine Black Bears following along as they get prepared for their game versus Stony Brook tonight.
Now, you know, I'm not so sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing for Maine. You know, if they see Binghamton playing this well, now they get a little tighter going into that Stony Brook game.
Maine with 4 to play. Here comes Sessoms. Right-handed hook. It's good. Sessoms picking up where he left off Thursday night.
He kind of creates the contact. He creates space by initiating the contact when he gets close to that basket.
6 points for Sam Sessoms, 13 for Richard Caldwell Jr. Into the lane, Ellison denied. Flowers knocks it down. Moses Flowers saving the trip down the floor.
Now, Hartford needed that basket.
Tinsley's got to get this one in, and does.
See the trapping Sessoms, make him get rid of it.
Tinsley knows the Bearcats have numbers and gets to the free throw line. Tommy Dempsey was prepared for this. He said they're going to key on Sessoms. He's going to get trapped. They'll probably also have their head on a swivel for Tinsley, but that's going to open the door for others to score. And for the Bearcats, they've executed that game plan with others scoring.
Yeah, he kind of looks like a guru or a Svengali after knowing all that stuff, and it's come to fruition almost exactly the way he said it.
The celebration after the UMass Lowell victory on Thursday was brief for Binghamton. They knew about the quick turnaround, and they knew that really to put themselves in a position to take a stab at a playoff berth, they'd need both games this weekend. Tommy Dempsey treated Friday as almost halftime of a 2-part weekend.
Well, you know, those two games are here, so it's a better chance of getting the 2 home games when they finish the last 2 on the road than it is getting at UMBC and at New Hampshire to close out the season.
Pierre Sarr takes a seat. Flowers goes inside, and J.J. Brown, fresh on the floor, collects his first foul.
Yeah, they found P.J. Henry. They found P.J. Henry in the lane. He was wide open. He didn't even know the ball was coming, but Carter knew it was going to him before he even knew it was coming, Henry.
Flowers is a 75% free throw shooter. He had a big game against Binghamton in rebounds. Actually hauled in a season best 9 when these teams met in late January. Hartford beat the Bearcats by 16 in a night where their defense really kept Sessoms in check. Only player they could not contain was George Tinsley, who had 25 points in that game. Helmerson got caught up in the trap and traveled.
Yeah, Flowers chipped in with 15 points in that ball game as well.
Hartford had 4 double figures in that game.
Well, that's when they're good, when everybody gets involved. Now, they relying a little bit too much on Ellis in the first 10 minutes here. So the rest of these guys, in fact, this guy right here with the ball is going to have to start scoring for them, Carter.
Kick it to DJ Henry. And the 5'10" guard feeds Allison, who can't finish. Allison fouled J.J. Brown.
A lot of people thought that Ellison was camped out in the lane, and he was, and he got the ball, and Sessom stripped him.
Okay, Doug, Bearcats certainly had the adrenaline to start this one. How do you keep rolling after a start like that to make sure your foot's on the gas pedal?
Yeah, well, you got to stay aggressive on the offensive end, just like this. Keep driving it hard and finding your teammates. You can't let up. You got to peak the early offense, drive it hard, get good shots, and then make good shots.
Dempsey has loved Helmerson's touch recently from deep. Inside, the grad transfer, Malik Ellison, will shoot 2 free throws.
Man, that's a little too strong for J.J. Brown to handle that time. He loves to post people up, Ellison. He's got the spin dribble. He's got good footwork. They got to give him they have to give him a little bit of help when he gets the ball that deep in the lane.
He spent 2 seasons at St. John's, transferred to Pittsburgh. You want to talk about leadership qualities. In his first active year and only active year with Pittsburgh, he was a captain.
Yeah, that says a lot about the young man. You come into a program and you're the newcomer, and they make you captain. He must have some leadership qualities.
As John Gallagher, his head coach, now put it, he and Tracy Carter have been, quote, ridiculous leaders. They've come in for a team that needed some upperclassmen direction, and they've fulfilled their roles to an incredible degree.
Well, their careers are slowly but surely running out of time, so they want to make the best of it, the most of it.
Ellison's got 5 points. His Hawks trailed by 22 after a blitzkrieg start by the Bearcats. That included an 18-0 run. Sessoms clips. The Cats clipped by a Hawk. And they'll put that on Stoffel's tab. That's his second.
Now, you know, when you play the 1-3-1 and you have the big guys out way away from the basket, you got to be careful of just that, fouling out high.
Not exactly where you want to see your big guys pick up those fouls,
exactly,
if at all.
Yeah, exactly.
So Stoffel, the freshman, takes a seat. Sessoms goes to work down low. Tinsley. Tracy Carter hauls in the rebound.
Good job by Ellison sprinting at Tinsley to make him think about him.
Into the corner, DJ Mitchell gets on the score sheet.
Yeah. This is a club that they're tough. They're not even looking at the scoreboard right now. They're just concentrating on their half-court offense and their half-court defense, and slowly but surely going to try to get back into this.
Mitchell cut off the angle for Helmerson. And here's that half-court defense by Hartford. Caldwell gets a good look, but left it short. Marks runs it down.
They had Sarr in the post. He had Flowers on him, and they didn't get him.
Keep your eye on Sarr again, number 5, top of the key. There's Sam Sessoms, the sophomore, who leads Binghamton in scoring and leads the conference in assists. Under duress, Carter kept it alive. Sessoms pushes it forward with the in-air adjustment. And then Haukon Helmerson picks up a foul at midcourt. Helmerson's first. The Hartford Hawks is starting to got their offense rolling, but Binghamton has kept the pace as Haukon Helmerson knocks down his first.
In our gym, in our league, we always feel our fans, and we've given them plenty to root for, but it didn't start with us. America East has always had great players, coaches, teams, and they've given us big moments.
Comes out to Hooley for the win.
Big upsets.
Sorrentine from the parking lot.
actually the biggest.
Shock and awe in college basketball.
We've made history, made the grade, made the pros. America East, it's what you've been rooting for all along.
What if you had a sniffle, an ache, a cough, or even a rash, and you could go online, have a virtual walk-in visit with a UHS provider from home, school, or from work? You can with UHS virtual walk-in visits. Consult with an actual UHS provider on any camera-equipped computer, smartphone, or tablet. UHS virtual walk-in visits, how UHS walk-in care comes to you. Learn more at nyuhs.org.
The world needs caring, conscientious team players, professionals who serve the health needs of all. From developing a drug that could improve the lives of millions to treating one bad case of the flu. Leaders in their professions who will use their knowledge and experience to improve life across the globe. That's where Binghamton comes in.
With just 2 games remaining in their regular season after this one, we take a look at Hartford's playoff picture. They currently occupy the 4th position. But for the Hawks, John Dowling was hoping for a strong finish. They had their eyes set on that 2 seed, Doug, if things break well for them.
Yeah, well, Stony Brook has control of their own destiny in the 2 slot, but Hartford would like nothing better to come back and win this one. Then they go to Stony Brook, so they take care of business. That really puts some pressure on Stony Brook, and then they finish with Maine. So Hartford can still get to that 2 slot.
They've beaten Stony Brook. They've gotten both wins versus UAlbany, so they've got the tiebreaker there. And for Binghamton, it's pretty simple. Ignore the scoreboard, just win.
Yeah, they can't afford any losses. You know, he said started this week, they need 3 out of 4. 2 out of 4, you may have had a chance, but 3 out of 4 will probably get you in. So they already got 1 against Lowell. They're doing pretty well here today, but again, those last 2 are on the road.
Upcoming tilts against UMBC and UNH. The Bearcats did beat the Retrievers on this floor early this season. Flowers rejected by Tinsley, and then it will stay with Hartford.
You know, getting back to that UMBC team, they started out over. They were struggling, they were injured, and they've really turned it on a little bit. They're coming on.
Impressive for UMBC and Ryan Odom's squad. 6-6 record, occupying the 5 spot despite missing so many key pieces. Tracy Carter, a key piece for Hartford, hits his first bucket.
And UMBC did a number on Albany the other day at Albany, so they're not dead yet either.
Nor are these Hawks, who have outscored the Bearcats on a 14-6 clip. Pressure on the incoming pass. Binghamton will keep it.
Very important here, Tim, with the last 6:45 to go. If you're Binghamton, you want to maintain a good distance between this Hartford team. Hartford would be thrilled to get this down to single digits maybe by halftime.
Binghamton led 28-4. Mills guarded tightly by DJ Mitchell.
Boy, good scouting there. Mitchell was right up on Mills coming out of that out-of-bounds play. They knew that play was coming.
Mills has been a sharpshooter, better than 35% from deep this season. Hartford beginning to find their rhythm from deep, though.
And you see Hunter Marks on the outside on the arc. He's a big fella, but he can shoot over people. He stays around that arc.
John Gallagher called him the X Factor. Marks cutting, Allison underneath. So talented around the rim.
And he's so quick to the basket, too. Tinsley did a pretty good job defending. And then he saw Sarr coming over for the help, and he got the shot off before Sarr could get up and block it.
8 unanswered, supplied by Hartford. Marks cuts off the ankle. Sarr knows the Bearcats have numbers. Caldwell, that got tipped. Ellison got a piece. Here come the Hawks. Marks right around Pierre Sarr. 10 in a row for Hartford. Tommy Dempsey calls a timeout. From 24 down to a deficit, now cut in half. And Hartford is beginning to put it together.
Yeah. After going 1 of 8 to start the game, now they're starting to find their rhythm. Their defense is playing a little bit better. You see that block there by Ellison. Their baskets aren't coming as easy as they were for Binghamton early on.
Doug, Hartford has stressed the defense, and it seems as if now that they've gotten those defensive stops, that's burgeoning their offense the other way.
Yeah, when you play good defense, there's something about it. You feel good. Your offense gets better. You get out in transition. Sometimes you get some easier ones, and then everybody's got a little life in them. They're following up. Then you get a couple of offensive rebounds, a couple of other possessions, and all of a sudden, you start to score at a good clip.
Sam Sessoms has a half dozen. Richard Caldwell Jr. has 13. Binghamton with a 12-point lead.
This time, Hartford man-to-man.
Tracy Carter did a great job containing Sessoms in January. Held him to 9 points. Sessoms again, tough leaner, gets it to go.
Well, you see what he does. He bumps, and he creates the space just enough. He knows exactly how much space he needs to get that shot off.
Marks steps into a 3. Sessoms sees an opening and then kicks to the freshman Mills. Offline with the baseline jumper.
Unfortunate they had Saar down low for an easy one, and Sessoms chose to send it out to Mills.
Hartford has gone 6-7 on the road. Just fell to New Hampshire, a 4-point overtime defeat, in which they surrendered 18 offensive rebounds and could not get it done against Bill Harrian's squad. Now on the road to take on Binghamton. Mitchell launches. DJ Mitchell from long range.
Yeah, in that UNH game, they got outscored 12-0 off turnovers and 27-0 on bench points. Not going to win too many games that way.
Hartford has not had an expansive rotation. A lot of the same names on the floor.
And you know, New Hampshire beat them 16-6 on offensive rebounds too. New Hampshire's a real good rebounding team.
Tinsley, and now Caldwell got behind Carter. Won't go. Tinsley got in there and picks up the foul on the rebound. Number 2 for the Bearcat sophomore, freshman.
Now, they're going to get him a little aggressive. He almost had the rebound, and then he committed a foul after.
On the dot, 4 minutes left in the first. Hartford in the midst of a 13-2 run. America East Basketball is brought to you by Hercules Tire. Ride on our strength. Visit HerculesTires.com. The BU dance team recognizing their seniors. Always a special day when not only the basketball players and the managers get recognized, but other seniors part of the Spirit Squad. Well, they're hoping that this one is a sweet one. Doug, it started sweet. Bearcats had a 28-4 lead, but here we go, an 11-point game.
Yeah, they have a way of making it interesting all the time, don't they? But a 40-minute game, that's why you play it for 40 minutes. Doesn't matter if you're winning after 10 minutes, after 20 minutes, after 30 minutes. Whoever's winning after 40 minutes is the winner of the ball game.
That's in the rule book. that is a rule. Well, not for the NBA All-Star game. It's different, very different. Which was a big hit, by the way. Here's Ellison as he goes to work. Hunter Marks.
Credit Sarr for getting on that. Marks was thinking about shooting that one.
Underneath, and Ellison got rejected by Caldwell.
What a play by Caldwell. Ellison thought he had an easy one.
With the foul for Sessoms.
Well, you know, we just talked about it, Tim. Good defense usually leads to good offense. Ellison thinks he has an easy one here, and where do you see where Caldwell comes from? All the way from the corner for the block, the hustle by Tinsley, the save, and then down the other end, Sessoms in traffic, finishes and gets to the line.
Sessoms already at the double figures. He has 11 points.
And people don't realize that. That's a 5-point swing. Down this end, Ellison was going to get a dunk. He didn't get it. And then Binghamton goes down and gets 3. That's a big swing.
Doug, how tough is it for Sarr to guard Hunter Marks, who's on the outside, and vacate the paint like that?
Yeah, he doesn't want to because he's a good shot blocker himself, but nobody else can stand up to Hunter Marks at the 6'9" frame of his, so somebody tall has to go out and guard him.
Underneath, they go back to the well for Flowers.
Yeah, good job by Flowers. Knows that Sarr's going to try to block his shot, gets him up off his feet, and goes up and under. Little head fake that a lot of guys don't use that much anymore, but it's pretty effective.
Oh, no one picked up J.J. Brown.
Yeah, Mitchell talking about it. He got a little fouled up on the defensive end, and J.J. Brown knew what to do, go right to the open area.
Tip to the corner. Step back, Carter, good. Tracy Carter with an impressive knockdown.
Well, unfortunate for Binghamton that time because Sarr made a real good defensive play. He poked it away and it just happened to fall into Carter's hands on the perimeter.
Brown from the wing. Up top, Sessoms.
Again, the 1-3-1 by Hartford defense.
Shake and drill.
Boy, Hunter Marks looking like, boy, I thought I had that one. I thought I was going to get a piece of it. Sessoms, as we said before, knows exactly how much room he needs to get a shot off.
This is the most points any conference team has scored against Hartford in the first half this season. And Sessoms just left one hanging.
And good hustle by Hartford to get back and challenge that easy one by Sessoms. You know, Tim, Sessoms is in the back line of that defense. He's a good rebounder. He's a strong player.
Carter with the interception. Looking for Ellison. Instead, he'll just pop. Marks with a beauty to tip it to Ellison and forces Brown to pick up his second foul.
Well, that's good basketball all the way around. The good defense, and then the Carter 3 in transition. You like to shoot those in rhythm. Marks following it up, tips it over to Ellison. You see the shot in transition. You don't mind that shot, and then Marks tips it over to Ellison, and it's good. Actually, it's a good foul by J.J. Brown because Ellison, probably the weakest part of his game, is right here.
Ellison just a 63% free throw shooter. It has not stopped him, though, from leading the conference with 9 double-doubles. with 4 in his last 5 games.
He gets to the line a lot, too, because he drives it a lot.
.44 first-half points for Binghamton.
Well, the 1-3-1 slowing Binghamton down a little bit.
Just spat out by Caldwell. Flowers against Petcash. Carter got Caldwell. Now it's done. Pierre Saw skies for the rebound.
The thing about the 1-3-1 defense, too, I used to love the 1-3-1 defense when I was coaching because a lot of guys don't know how to attack it. Looks like they might be sliding back into man-to-man here.
Sessoms, the circuitous route, run down by Hunter Marks. And now Hartford can try to get this down a little bit lower to cap the first half. Binghamton's best first half by points this season. Hunter Marks, the 3. Binghamton puts up 44. Hartford finds their legs, and it's a 13-point game at the break. America East basketball here on ESPN3.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
At Gallagher Baker, we represent injured workers in the New York State workers' compensation cases and individuals who applied for SSD and SSI.
What sets us apart as attorneys is how much we care about our clients as human beings. They're not numbers, they're not a paycheck. We recognize that through no fault of their own, they've been injured and they are in trouble and they need help.
Call us today at 607-722-5840.
There is a greater strength in you.
A strength you may not see in yourself. But here, you are challenged and pushed and guided and encouraged and motivated and inspired
and propelled and excited and driven to succeed until you find it. That's the University of Hartford.
We are adventurers. We're always working on our craft. We're problem solvers. We are curious. We are the sum of our passions.
Our company is our culture, and our mission is to make the world go. We are Raymond.
Don't just get a job. Launch a career that's an extension of who you are. We are Raymond.
I'm prepared to fall down, get back up, and go for it. I'm prepared to try something totally new. I'm prepared to make my ideas a reality. I'm a Girl Scout. I'm prepared for whatever lies ahead.
The world needs innovators, big thinkers, to build better batteries and expand our knowledge of the human brain. Cutting-edge problem solvers who can code, solve ancient puzzles, and design really cool robots. Leaders in their professions who will use their knowledge and experience to improve life across the globe. That's where Binghamton comes in.
The last home game of the season for the BU men has not disappointed. The Bearcats have a 13-point lead at the break. we welcome you courtside. Tim Hyman, Doug Walsh, glad you made us part of your Saturday afternoon. And Doug, it was the start of starts for the BU Bearcats.
Yeah, off to a 22-2 from the get-go on senior day here. Everybody was getting involved, including Richard Caldwell and Pierre Sarr, which is what you want to see, the two seniors. But Hartford crawling back into it. They don't feel real comfortable 13. They'd like to have it down to single digits, but they're not dead yet.
Doug, we saw, as you said, others contribute that weren't Sam Sessoms or George Tinsley. What clicked to put those guys in that position?
Well, they got off to a good start. They got a couple of easy ones. They got some out in transition. They ran off their defense, and they just got hot. You know, sometimes you get hot. And they made 3 or 4 in a row, then they missed one, then they made 3 or 4 in a row again, and that kind of gets contagious. You start feeling good about yourself, and you're on a roll.
Hartford, though, didn't slink away. They trailed at one point, 28-4. They regrouped, though, and they finished that first half on a good note.
Well, we said we had to get other guys involved. They did get DJ Mitchell involved. He has 2 threes. Moses Flowers still has maybe a claim to rookie of the conference, so he's got something to prove. And Stacy Carter scored. They need more scoring out of the other guys because Binghamton's doing a real good job on Malik Ellison.
Yeah, we saw that down low. Those points have not come easily for Ellison.
He got a couple of easy ones and he just missed them. Then he got a little frustrated. Then they blocked a couple of his shots. Then they stole one off him. Then he committed a foul down here that was ill-advised. So they got him a little out of sorts. They have Ellison.
Okay, so the Bearcat defense has done a better job against Ellison. How do they keep the offense flowing in that second half?
As you said before, your offense has to be created by your defense, and they have to continue playing that real good defense down that end now this time to propel their offense.
Tracy Carter has knocked out a couple. He's been a big defensive force for Hartford. What could you project for his performance in the second half?
Well, I think they're talking about it. Ellison's trying to do a little bit too much right now. They're going to try to get the other guys involved. It doesn't matter who it is. They'll take anybody. Mitchell, they'll take Moses Flowers. They'll take even Dunn coming off the bench. They don't like to shoot a lot of threes, but they may have to shoot more than they would like to in the second half.
Hartford has already dug out a little bit of this hole, and now they trail by 13 at the break. We'll have more as halftime continues from Vestal. Take a look at the first half highlights, and there were plenty of them. Doug, Binghamton scored 44 points, their best output in the first half this season.
You see them running off their defense. Caldwell there running off the defense. And then you see Saar with the hard foul. I like the fact that Saar just gets up and walks away there, so there's no trouble. Caldwell getting a hand in the passing lane. Great defense, and he knows what to do with it on the run.
13 points for Caldwell in the first.
Yeah, and then Sessum's he leads Saar to that basketball with that nice pass. And then you see this cat can jump through the ceiling. Richard Caldwell, as you see, that was pretty easy from Tinsley behind the 1-3-1. But Saar says, well, get that out of here, but it goes right into Flowers' hands, and he knocks down the J, trying to get them back in it. Then he finds his teammate, Mitchell, in the corner after driving it. When you drive it, you draw the help defense. And then Carter will find Mitchell again for another. And he knocks that one down.
Hartford started 2 of 12 from the floor. They end 8 of 16, and John Gallagher's squad is hoping to build off of that to start the second half.
They kind of got a little bit of momentum at the end there, midway through the second half and toward the end. They're down 13. They'd like to be down a little bit less. However, they still think they got a shot here. They're still in this ball game, and they are.
Hartford gunning for favorable seed. They'll have their work cut out for them as the Bearcats look to punch a ticket to the postseason. The second half coming up in a little bit on ESPN3. Today's halftime stats are brought to you by Foz Construction Group. Foz Construction Group provides a wide range of construction services for projects of varying scope, budget, schedule, and complexity. An impressive first half for Binghamton. They put up 44 points, but Hartford starting to find their groove at the end. Second half coming up next on ESPN3. Today's Visions Federal Credit Union Scholar Athlete is Michelle Eisenberg. Michelle's a junior from Weston, Florida, and a member of the women's tennis team. As an accounting major, she maintains a 389 GPA. Visions Federal Credit Union. If you want to be part of something greater, something different, and something growing, then you've come to the right place. We're more than banking. You can be too. Fresh off of a 14-point first half, Sam Sessoms returns to work. Binghamton leads 44-31. In dire need of some wins to increase their chances of getting into the playoffs. Tim Hyman, Doug Walsh, and underway in the second half.
Well, you see in that shot before we started, Hunter Marks and Pierre Sarr having a little conversation, getting to know each other a little bit.
Those two have crossed paths quite a bit in this one. A game that saw Binghamton lead 28-4. George Tinsley rolled on top. Call for the travel. Hartford opens up with the defensive stop.
Well, if you're Hartford now, you got to play solid defense here for the first 4 or 5 minutes. Very important to get this thing started going your way in the second half. And conversely, if you're Binghamton, you can't let Hartford go on a little bit of a run. The first 4 minutes are really important at the start of the second half.
From the wing, Flowers can't hit. Tipped and kept alive. It's DJ Mitchell. Binghamton has gone 7-1 when leading at halftime this season. Can they make a 13-point lead stick? No. Carter with Sarr popping out. Pierre Sarr picks up his second. We revisit our keys to this one.
Well, Hartford, they didn't get much early, but much better sharing the ball later in the half. Advantage Binghamton establishing the post. They went 24-10 against Hartford in the post, which is they flipped the script there. We said Binghamton needed to shoot a good percentage. They're shooting over 40% from three, 42, and they have 7 steals on the defensive end.
Tinsley tried to close out, but was too late. Moses Flowers has reached double figures.
Yeah, a good start for Hartford. They got a stop down one end. They got an offensive rebound. They got a 3-ball, and now they got another turnover.
Doug, Binghamton only committed 2 turnovers in the first half.
Now, they took care of the ball pretty well, but they got things out in the open floor a little bit. They got some easy ones. And when you shoot early in the clock, you don't get as many turnovers.
Malik Ellison stripped by Sarr.
Tell you what, Binghamton scouted Ellison pretty well. He loves that spin dribble, and they've stopped it 3 times.
George Tinsley, who's contributed more as a table setter than a scorer today. And now it's Tracy Carter, the transfer from LaSalle. Inside, and Hunter Marks shows off the touch.
Good find in there. They found Marks. Now he's going inside a little bit now. Going to work inside instead of just relying on that jumper.
Three empty trips for Binghamton to start the second. Sarr battling down low against Marks.
Should they get another one, you might see a timeout.
It's a tough shot for Sessoms. Won't roll home. Hunter Marks pulls down the rebound. Hartford with the first 5 of this second. It's Marks for 3.
Binghamton dodged a bullet there. He got a pretty good look. Just didn't knock it down.
Tough shooting for Marks. 0 for 4 from deep today. Under 30% from behind the arc his last 7 games.
Now you see now that the other basket he got earlier was inside, so you may see him try to go inside a little bit more.
A much needed bucket just for a sigh of relief for the Bearcats.
Yeah, calm things down a little bit.
16 points for Sam Sessoms. He leads all scorers. Caldwell sizes up Carter.
Well, unsung in this game today is Caldwell's job he's doing on Stacey Carter.
Flowers with the jump stop, but traveled.
Yeah, when you do that jump stop, you have to have both feet land at the same time. You can't go one and then the other. They have to land at the same time.
What in particular has the Bearcats defense done well to limit Carter?
Well, they're crowding him. Caldwell hasn't left him. He picks him up as soon as he comes out of the huddle. He's kind of frustrating. But Carter's not trying to create for himself. He's trying to create for others, so that's limited his scoring chances as well.
Sessoms threads. Now it's Sarr. Double pump. Flowers the carom.
Sarr never felt comfortable with that. He bobbled it, then he bobbled it again.
Here's Carter. Marks with the mismatch down low.
Well, you see on the jumper, though, Caldwell ran at him and Carter caused Carter to miss it, but Hartford comes up with the offensive board.
John Gallagher fired up, going up and down his bench to rally the troops. His Hawks are within 8. Mills denied. Ellison got it before it hit the backboard.
Now, I don't know if you might be too young to remember his dad, Purvis Ellison, for Louisville, but a tremendous shot blocker in his own right.
You mean never nervous?
Never nervous Purvis. I saw him down in Dallas in the Final Four, and that game he played, 1986, was one of the best championship games of all time by anybody.
I'll admit I did not know the nickname until yesterday.
You're too young, my man.
Here comes Sessoms. No, follow. Pierre Sarr runs it down.
You know, Sessoms knew that Sarr was on the other side for that rebound. He threw that up long on purpose.
Sessoms draws contact from Flowers. Free throws coming up for Sam Sessoms. We got ourselves a ball game here in Vestal. Hunter Marks is still looking for his touch from outside, but Doug, he's had it on the inside.
Yeah, 1 of 4 in the first half, and he's made 2 of 3 in the second half. Now, he did miss that 3-ball, but he's going down low, and that's where he could be effective.
Hartford has outscored Binghamton 7-2 in this second half. They've turned a 24-point deficit into just an 8-point game. The Hawks came into this game sitting in 4th, a 7-6 conference record. Binghamton in 9th place at 3-10 in conference play. And then you get a look at that Hartford Hawks huddle. This is a team that their head coach said came into this one with a chip on their shoulder and let a couple of games get away. Could have put away Vermont, couldn't do it. Could not put a lid on UMass Lowell. Even had a lead late against New Hampshire. And they came in here smelling blood, but the Bearcats delivered the first haymaker in this one.
Yeah. Well, credit to Hartford, though. You know, after those losses, they're feeling a little bit of pressure coming in here. They withstood that barrage of scoring early on by Binghamton, and they still have life in this one.
Binghamton has not trailed. That's long range by Sessoms. Run down by Ellison, who's averaged a double-double this season. 18 points per. Nearly 11 rebounds per game.
You see he's just struggling scoring, but he's blocking shots, he's getting rebounds, he's playing defense, he's doing other things to help his team win.
Carter kicks. Mitchell loves it from long range. Left it short. Carter with the offensive rebound.
Again, though, Caldwell running at him. Changed that shot.
Foul on the floor on Brenton Mills.
Now you got to watch Flowers now. He'll go in and he'll screen, and then he circles back around. They try to get him after.
Flowers guarded tightly by Sam Sessoms. Mills, the freshman, against the veteran Carter. They swing to Mitchell. Too much, and Sarr fumbles it out of bounds.
Wait, I'm going to say it again. Caldwell changed that shot, too. He ran at Mitchell in the corner and caused him to think about it. Caldwell doing a real good job on the three-point shooters.
Caldwell, he's 6'4", but he plays like a guy that's maybe, what, 6'7"?
And he jumps through the ceiling, and he jumps quick.
Flowers gets it to go.
Forced him out deeper than he had to be, but Flowers converted.
The 9th time that Flowers has scored 15 points or more in a game as a freshman. It's a 2-possession game in Vestal.
Well, you know, we saw it the other night. UMass Lowell, Connor Withers came in here running for Rookie of the Year against Tinsley. Now, Flowers, Tinsley's the front runner. Those guys know it. They're trying to prove themselves when they can't play against Tinsley.
Mills, the freshman. Got it off, didn't get it to go, and Hartford delivers. And for Flowers, he had been quiet the last 2 games. Posed the question to John Gallagher, what have you liked from Flowers? And he said, well, not much recently. But Flowers, who had been held to 9 points total in his last 2 games, has come back with a vengeance. 15 today.
Yeah, he struggled against UNH today, going 1 for 7, but he's capable of putting up some numbers. He had 4 threes against UNH the first time. He had 4 threes against UMBC, so you got to be careful. Don't let him get off.
Here he is on the wing. Hartford feeling it. They've got momentum. The feed to Allison. He wasn't ready for it. Caldwell with speed the other way, and Carter will get called for the foul. Carter thought he had gotten it cleanly.
Yeah. Good hustle. Well, his pass was a little bit low, but yes, you're right. Ellison wasn't ready for it, but he couldn't hit it. And then, yeah, Carter thought he got all ball. You be the judge.
Caldwell was the spark plug for Binghamton's offensive outburst to start today's game. With 13 points in the first half. There's Tommy Dempsey. On Thursday night, he said this was a team in desperation mode. They put up a 2-point win over UMass Lowell. They had a fantastic start to this one, but that lead has dripped and dripped away and now just stands at 6 points.
Now you remember, too, in that Lowell game, Binghamton had a pretty good-sized lead. They had them by 11 with only 4.5 to go, so a lot of game left here.
Allison out. Carter. The spin. No. Second chance. Net tangled up in the rim. Play continues. Caldwell, the denial. And a foul on Hartford. What a stand by the Bearcat defense.
That was quite a, I'm old school. That was quite a defensive stand. I love that. A lot of blocks. A lot of good changing of shots. We got to get that net down. Yep. Yeah, you see the block. There was a couple of blocks before that, but you got to love the effort on Caldwell and Sarr.
Doug, that's now 3 fouls on Hartford's defensive juggernaut, Tracy Carter.
Yeah, that could be a problem.
No one else in foul trouble. Caldwell underneath. Well, check that. That'll be Flowers' 3rd.
Well, they put Carter on Sessoms to try to shut him down because he's a good on-ball defender. He could stop the drive, and he's long enough to get a hand up on Sessoms' jumper. But you also got to work, and you also got to stay out of foul trouble. He's a handful to guard, so a lot of guys get in a foul trouble guarding Sam Sessoms.
Caldwell went 1 for 2 on an earlier trip at the free throw line.
A pretty good foul shooting.
Certainly improved this season.
Yeah.
He's improved all of his shooting numbers from last year.
Yes, yes, he has. But you know, too, when you start making a few, you make some threes, you make some fouls, you get a little more confident. You're not as nervous when you're shooting it or shooting fouls. Those two look pretty good.
by the numbers, he's been Binghamton's best three-point shooter among qualifiers this season.
And you know what else, too? He's not the first guy to shoot him. He's usually third or fourth, and he's gotten teams like at Lowell. He made a couple key ones to keep him in the game on the road. They didn't pull the game out, but he kept him in the game a couple times with some timely threes.
Hunter Marks forces Pierre Sarr's hand. That's the third on Sarr. Sarr has played almost every minute of this one. Tommy Dempsey has been hesitant to dip down on his depth chart, but he might have to with 3 fouls on Sarr.
Well, he knows that Sarr usually gets in foul trouble. Sarr, they need him to stay on the floor. You know, maybe not 40 minutes of game time today, but they're going to need 36, 37 out of him. So he's got to stay on the floor. He's got to be careful not to pick up that 4th foul in the next 3 or 4 minutes.
He's had to be really active, too, on the defensive end today.
Yeah. He's coming blocking shots from help. You know, most block shots come from help defense. He's doing a good job helping his teammates out. And he's changed a few shots, even though he hasn't blocked them.
Marks goes 1 of 2. Binghamton lead at 7.
Hartford back in the 1-3-1. They missed Sarr. Sarr was open down low.
Sessoms against Stoffel. How about the touch from Sessoms?
The guys on Hartford never thought he was going to shoot the little scooper like that. That takes a lot of confidence to shoot that shot.
Going up against a 6'10" guy in Stoffel.
Because if you miss it, you kind of look a little silly.
Flowers, a wide open look. Follow good. How about the second effort by Ellison to keep that play alive?
Yeah, Mills thought that Tinsley had corralled the rebound, and he started up the floor, and Tinsley just couldn't get it.
Sessoms back to the well. Couldn't get that one to go.
Yeah,
And now Hartford with numbers if they want it. Flowers, a patient approach. Hartford ball. The Bearcats and Hawks separated by 7 points. Final home game of this season for Sam Sessoms, and he's put together another fine performance. He's got 18 points as he looks to get back into the 20s for the 13th time this season.
Well, with 11:16 to go and he's got 18 now, I'm not a betting man, but I bet he gets to 20. Actually, I am a betting man.
You need more of the horses, though, right?
Yeah. High-lie horses.
High-lie?
Yeah, I spent the time betting on high-lie up in Connecticut and down in Florida. Huh? I don't know anything about it, but I was betting on it.
Where does one find the books on highlight?
There is no books. You watch it for a little while and you say, okay, those two guys are good. All right, I'll take them. And you lose money.
You always lose. Anyway, there's Sessoms, where he stacks up against the Bearcats in history in 20-point games, and Hunter marks again.
Boy, credit John Gallagher. He ran that play coming out of the timeout. A little delay late in the 5-second count. People take on, they lose their guard, and then they bang it.
Mills, no. Marks, fouled.
I think they're going to get Sessoms, maybe.
Doug, the Hartford Hawks have dominated the glass. They're a plus 17. They've hauled in 13 offensive rebounds and set the table for a disparity in second chance points.
Yeah, 17-0 second chance points. But you know, too, the team that wins the rebounding battle usually wins the game, and they have a decided advantage, Hartford, yet they're still down 5. But you can't make a steady diet of letting them get all those rebounds on the offensive end if you're Binghamton.
Carter, half the floor to work with. And there's another one for Hartford. A chance. Flowers, no.
You see that time 4 white shirts around there for the rebound.
Sessoms drew all the attention. Saar with a nifty putback.
Caldwell's jumper was halfway down and it popped out, but good hustle by Pierre Saar to clean that up.
And you see the rebounds, 38-21 in favor of Hartford. They came into this game with the worst rebounding margin in the conference.
Yeah, well, after getting out rebounded at New Hampshire the other day, they made a concerted effort on that. Now, see, if I'm Hartford, I'm going to give it to Stoffel down low inside as many times as I can, because he's clearly bigger and stronger than anybody else on Binghamton's squad.
And not to mention, if you get contact from Saar, you just raise his foul count.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mills, little 8-footer, no. Tinsley will shoot 2.
Was pretty athletic by Tinsley. He had overran it and it rebounded long, but he extended those long arms and pulled that rebound in.
Tinsley rips down his 3rd offensive rebound. He came into today's game averaging about 2.5 offensive boards per game. 3rd in the conference. He's put up some stellar rebounding numbers as just a freshman. And now looks to add to his point total at the free throw line.
Well, a couple of different things. He's got a nose for the ball, one. He's a good anticipator. You have to anticipate where that ball is going to come off. And he gets himself into position for rebounds before the shot goes up. He knows his teammate's going to shoot it, and he slides in and gets good rebounding position.
Perfect trip for Tinsley. Carter sizes up Binghamton's defensive set. Allison against Saar, who's playing with 3 fouls. Sessoms picked it off. Wasting no time. Tinsley's follow.
Boy, great job by Binghamton. Tinsley never giving up on the play. You know, it's pretty easy to say, okay, Sam Sessoms has it. He's probably going to finish, but good defense by Hartford, and Tinsley fouls it up.
Inside of 9 minutes in a 9-point game.
But they really have Ellison bottled up, don't they?
Nothing has come easy for him today down low. Stoffel swarmed, and he draws Saar's 4th foul.
Boy, just what you said a minute ago, Tim. You got to be careful Pierre Saar doesn't get it now. 8:44 to go. We said he had to go 4 more minutes or so without getting one. Now he picks one up, so you're going to see J.J. Brown come in to replace him.
And in terms of fouls, it's not a significant improvement. Brown has 3 fouls himself.
Yeah. Well, I think the thinking now is if Brown can go in, give you 3 or 4 minutes, and it'd be okay if he commits 4 or 5 and he fouls out, you'd rather have Saar late in the game than you would Brown. I mean, nothing against J.J. Brown, but Saar's got about 6 or 7 inches on him, and he can defend marks and block shots.
Stoffel makes this back to an 8-point game.
Well, credit Binghamton, too. They're holding Hartford at bay. They had it down to 5, and now it's back up to 8.
That's as close as Hartford has been. 5 points after trailing by 24 in the first half. George Tinsley, good.
Right from Sessoms. Sessoms pulled the 2 defenders just far enough away and allows Tinsley to get squared up. Gave him just enough time and enough room to knock that one down.
Stoffel swarmed again. Carter got the bump out of Brown. What a veteran move by Carter.
Yes, sir. That's exactly what it was. A veteran move. He got the pump fake, got Brown up in the air, and you're always going to get that call. Even though he leaned in, you're always going to get that call.
George Tinsley did not score a bucket in the first half, but he's got on the score sheet here in the second.
Well, you know, the other night he had 12 in the first half, and he didn't score much in the second half, and he didn't score today in the first half, not much, and now he's 2 offensive rebounds and a 3.
It's like that's now 7 free throw misses for Hartford today.
Now, if you're going to contend on the road, you've got to make fouls because you're not going to shoot as many as the home team. Although I don't know, I checked the numbers. They're shooting a good number here on the road. Oh, we got a deep one here.
Tinsley, the long ball. That'll be out of play, or is it? We might get a foul on the floor.
It's a foul, yeah. It's on top of the basket is okay. If it goes over the basket, it's out of play. So that was still alive, and Kevin Ferguson's got a foul on Hartford on the rebound, holding somebody down so they couldn't get up and get a rebound.
Justin Simon will head to the scorer's table to make sure they've got it assessed on the right person. They put it on Ellison. That was announced. That would have been his second, and it will stand. 2 on Ellison. Sessom's moving on that baseline.
Yeah, he almost moved a little bit too much.
And that'll stay with Binghamton. You can only move.
I think there's a 2.5-foot radius around you that you can go. You can step a little bit, but you can't go outside 2.5 feet.
Testing the rule book knowledge of my good man Doug Walsh. 10-point game, 8 to play here in Vestal. Binghamton continues to stiff arm this Hartford comeback, and George Tinsley has played a big role.
Now, he only took 1 shot in the first half. You know, you gotta let the game come to you. You don't try to force it. And I see Sessoms gave him just enough room, but you don't try to force things. You take what the defense will give you. The defense did a good job on him in the first half, but now he's kind of catching fire with 2 buckets in the second half and a couple of foul shots.
Tinsley certainly contributed despite only taking 1 shot in that first half. He had 5 assists in the first. He and Sessoms were really the table setters before Sessoms kicked into gear in the scoring department.
Yeah, letting the game come to him. Rather than trying to force it yourself, take what the defense will give you, and the defense is giving him his teammates open looks, so that's what Tinsley will do. He'll do whatever it takes to win.
You know those Abington Heights guys.
Yes, I do know those Abington Heights guys. Well coached in high school.
Back to Sessoms. Binghamton got a good look, and Brown playing with 4 fouls. A tenacious rebound. Tinsley shaking down low, but he traveled. A little too much shake.
Yeah, I don't know. They give him a. They call him for a walk on that, but I don't know. He covered a lot of ground with that 1 or 2 dribble there. But
the lead sits at 10. Can they get it inside to Ellison, who's been frustrated all day down low?
And they got Brown on him now. See, they go double team. As soon as Ellison gets it, they send a double at him.
Big one from DJ Mitchell. The sophomore hits from deep for the 3rd time.
Yeah, he's keeping a minute, DJ Mitchell.
Tinsley into Brown.
It looked like a little confusion there on Hartford's defense. Moses Flowers turning around looking like, I don't know if I was supposed to be guarding J.J. Brown there, but apparently he was. But nobody was guarding J.J. Brown there.
Second time he's gotten lost in that defense for each of his buckets.
In the middle of the lane, too. That's kind of hard to do.
Binghamton, Hartford trading buckets. Allison, jump stop, the touch.
Now you see that's the difference now with Brown on Ellison rather than Saar or somebody bigger on him. Now Ellison feels a little bit more comfortable.
Tinsley, no look to Sessoms. By the way, the first bucket for Ellison this half. J.J. Brown, no, couldn't get the roll.
You don't mind that if you're Binghamton, though? That wasn't a bad shot. You got to be careful now. Marks doesn't get one off from deep. He's got Helmer. Well, they're in zone now, but
Carter plowing in. Allison, no on the offensive rebound. And then Carter picked up his 4th foul.
Well, you see the frustration on Malik Ellison's face. He had a real easy one, and the front of the rim kind of blocked that one.
On the heels of their 15th offensive rebound.
Yeah, and they could have cut it to 5. Instead, now Petcash is down the other end, making it a possibility to get to 7.
Binghamton is 6-6 on this floor. Can they put together a strong final 6 minutes of change to cap their home schedule above 500 and take a giant leap forward in their hunt for a playoff berth?
You see Petcash, pretty good foul shooter. Calmly knocks down the first one.
Dan Petcash has played in 25 games this season and maintains his perfect mark from the free throw line. 12 of 12 this year.
Well, now there's 6 minutes to go in the game, and Saar is still on the bench, so you'd have to say that Binghamton has weathered the storm with Saar on the bench.
Now it's Caldwell down low. Up top, Hunter Marks. He'll drive against Caldwell. Ellison's follow with the foul. Second chance points for Hartford.
Boy, a crafty move, a veteran move by Ellison. He pushed a little bit while the ball was in the air, and they didn't see him. They didn't catch him, and he was in perfect rebounding spot for the offensive putback.
Well, Doug, what's past is past from Binghamton's perspective with a 16 offensive rebounds, but how do they limit these down the stretch?
You have to block out now. The last couple of trips they were zoned, so and they're a little bit smaller with this lineup with Saar on the bench.
Now pressure. Caldwell finds Sessoms. Tinsley, close out Marks. Allison pulls down another rebound. That's 11.
And if you're Binghamton too, I like it. You got to stay aggressive on the offensive end. You got to keep going at him, going at him, going at him. Don't try to slow down the ball game.
Back to a 2-possession game. Allison with his 10th double-double in progress. Can't add to it. Second chance, no. Richard Caldwell Jr. is shaken up.
Looks like he got hit in the face. He's holding his up around his eye area.
He has been the spark plug at both ends for the Bearcats since getting back in the starting lineup in mid-January. Caldwell shined to start this game. The senior led the attack.
Now this may take a little time because anytime somebody gets hit above the shoulders, you got to go take a look at it. See if there's anything flagrant, anything malicious, anything out of the ordinary. And they're, I don't know if he's got blood on him, but it looks like they're tending to somewhere in his face. Yeah, they're wiping up blood on the floor there, so he must have a little bit of blood.
Well, with Ellison, Binghamton knew that it was going to be a physical game down low in the paint. And, you know, Doug, 2 nights ago, as Richard Caldwell Jr. is back on his feet. 2 nights ago, the Bearcats' defensive game plan against Obadiah Noel was successful. They frustrated him. They kept him mostly in check. And tonight, they're just trying to hold it as much as they can against Ellison.
Well, you know, you say that, and it's the same game plan that they had against Noel. They sent, every once in a while, they would send a double at him, and they'd certainly double team the pick and roll. Now, Ellison doesn't do as many pick and rolls, but they're sending a double team at him. So you've already practiced that for a week for the UMass Lowell game, so you're kind of comfortable with that same kind of style, and you got to do it again today. Binghamton doing a real good job of frustrating Ellison, just like they frustrated Noel the other night.
Still hasn't prevented Ellison from ripping down 11 rebounds. That's now 5 double-doubles in his last 6 games. Another look at the contact down low. Ooh, right there. That right hand came down inadvertently from Ellison and got a heavy piece of Richard Caldwell.
Well, you got to credit Ellison, though, too.
So Malik Ellison going for that second effort. And they'll consider it just simply a basketball play. No ill intent.
I had to leave my thought there to listen to Matt Doran, but I was talking about Ellison, Tim. He is frustrated, yes, but you got to credit to the guy. He's still putting up numbers even though he's having a frustrating night.
Sam Sessions with 18 points. Draws contact on his way to the rim. That's number 4 on Moses Flowers. Flowers and Carter each with 4.
Well, Sessions took Flowers off the dribble, had a little bit of something to say to him after a comment on the way back to the foul line where nobody could see it. As if to say, you can't stop me from getting to the basket. Not too many people can, and certainly you can't. And Moses is going to have to take a seat. Carter back in the ball game, the veteran.
I must have miscounted. Flowers actually sitting with 3 fouls. So take him out of foul trouble at the moment.
Well, Coach Gallagher trusts Stacey Carter a little bit more than he does Moses Flowers. He'll see probably Carter down the stretch.
Allison cross court connecting with Carter. It's Michael Don. A big one from Don, his first.
Well, design play, they go across court and they have a back screen and then one extra pass got done a real good look.
And here we are again. Hartford back within 5. Pressure on Sessions. Inside Saar with 4 fouls. Halmerson needs help. Saar drives. A 6'8" forward, and he'll head to the free throw line.
Now, if you're Saar now, on the defensive end, he knows he's got to be careful, but more importantly, if they run at him on the defensive end and he drives it, you got to be careful you don't pick up an offensive charge because they're going to try to slide in and take one.
Pierre Saar is 1 for 2 for the free throw line today. this season, a 76% free throw shooter. Dan Petcash takes a seat. Four and change to play. A win would get the Bearcats at least momentarily above Maine in the standings. A win for Hartford would be a step in the right direction for an improvement in their seed. They currently sit with a 4 seed. Don has already hit one in his last trip down the floor.
Well, and Sessoms knew that. That's why he ran at him.
Allison opposite Tinsley. Mitchell slings it to Don. More second chances. Carter drills it. 3-point game.
Great job by Ellison. He knew he couldn't get it, but he saw his teammate on the perimeter. He tipped it over to Carter. A leadership play right there. One leader to another.
Now Sessoms got caught. Tinsley.
Well, of note, Tim, 3.5 to go. It's double bonus now for Binghamton. Takes a little bit of pressure off when they're on the foul line.
Too much from Sessoms. Run down by Carter. 3-point game. Hartford has trailed from the get-go. Allison. Kick out. Mitchell. Another opportunity for Hartford.
Fifth, I think.
And Sarr got caught in no man's land. Pierre Sarr has fouled out for the 6th time this season. The Hawks pounding at the gate within 3 with just over 3 left to play. Make sure our mic is okay. The Hartford Hawks have taken full advantage of their second chances. They've pulled in 18 offensive rebounds. It's led to 25 second chance points.
Now, you know, and you're talking about veteran leadership. You see now, strong move by Ellison. Not getting, you know, he's frustrated, yes, but you still got to keep knocking on the door. And he's also finding his teammates. You see, he finds Marks on it, and then he craftily got into offensive rebounding position on that play, knowing that Marks was going to take it all the way to the basket.
Pierre Sarr done for the day. 5 fouls. How much does that change Binghamton's defense?
Yeah, it's going to change it a lot. Now, you're going to see them probably, you may see some zone now on the defensive end, but you got to be careful because they got a lot of shooters in there with Dunn, Mitchell, Carter, and even Marks. They may even go out, they may go 4 out, 1 in with Ellison in the post by himself. Try to work either the post play for Ellison and then a kick back out for a jumper for Hartford on the perimeter.
This is as close Hartford has been since the first bucket of the game. Binghamton shooting 26% from the floor in the second, and only 1 of 9 from behind the arc. Sassum gets it to go.
Well, you see now, with Sarr on the bench, you're probably going to see Sessum's handle the ball and take the bulk of the shots for the last 2.5 minutes here. 2 or 3 or 4 shots. It's probably going to be in Sessum's hands all the game. Oh,
Michael Dunn to tie it. Dunn with his second from deep.
Well, they've roared all the way back.
A clean slate, 2:15 left in the second. Another nail biter for Hartford. Sessums off for Brown.
Now, if you're Binghamton, you'd like to get something going toward the basket.
Halmerson going towards, back out, Tinsley, that got touched by Dunn.
Yeah, credit Dunn, he ran at him and got a piece of that.
Hartford with an opportunity to take their first lead, and John Gallagher wants to give them time to talk about it. 1:46 to play in the second. We're all even in Vestal.
You'll find a terrific offer from Applebee's. Applebee's is open after the game and has 2 great locations, one in Vestal and one in Binghamton. Applebee's, a perfect place to enjoy dinner. We'll see you there after the game.
You gotta give Hartford credit for coming back now.
Let's take a look at our Harding Brooks Insurance upcoming schedule. Hartford will head down to the North Shore of Long Island to take on Stony Brook. As they look to move up in the standings, they'll take on the current second place Seawolves, and for Binghamton, back on the road. They'll take on UMBC down in Catonsville to wrap up their season away from the Southern Tier.
Yeah, both these clubs a little ahead of the rest of the pack with only 2 games left after today.
The Hawks have a chance to grab their first lead. Carter. Kick out. Dunn. Keeps it rolling. A third from deep for the sophomore.
J.J. Brown, too, had a hand in his face. You got to credit Michael Dunn for staying focused with the concentration.
9 minutes of play, 9 critical points by Dunn. Binghamton trailing for the first time. Caldwell will shoot 2. Hartford has averaged just 7 3-pointers per game. They've hit 11 today.
Well, they have to, we said at halftime, you're probably going to have to shoot more than you would like to shoot. And they've been shooting a few more in the second half, and you got to credit Dunn. He's been true on 3 of them. So, yeah, they were forced to shoot it, and they're making them, which got them back in the ballgame.
So now Binghamton plays from behind with practically their season on the line. A loss would be a crushing blow in their hopes of getting a playoff berth. At Hartford, no strangers to this spot. They played in one tight game after another.
Yeah, the loss would hurt Binghamton more too because of the lead that they had and then they squandered. But we'll see what happens.
Final minute. Hawks nursing a 1-point lead.
And this is the kind of game, if Hartford could pull this out, that would really, I don't want to say make your season, but really get you going toward the end of the season.
Caldwell picks up the foul. As John Gallagher put it, if we can finish this season 2-1, even 3-0, we'll play in the championship game. He was adamant about that.
Yeah, they finally figured each other out, you know, with all the new guys, all the new pieces. Sometimes it takes a lot of time to figure things out, but certainly in this second half, it looks like they got things figured out.
J.J. Brown takes a seat with 4 fouls. Ellison shooting a 1-and-1. Got it.
And this will be the last 1-and-1 for Hartford too. So the rest of the way, both teams will be shooting 2 shots. A little less pressure when you're on that line when you have a 2-shot foul rather than a 1-on-1.
Can't get the bounce. Caldwell pulls down the rebound. Bearcats down by 2. They have 3 timeouts to use. Sessoms flustered by Carter. Tommy Dempsey calls a timeout. We take a look at our Hercules Tires strong play of the game. Binghamton has done their best to contain Hartford's offense down low as Richard Caldwell Jr. has been all over the floor, and this one turned into what became a 5-point swing. Hercules Tires ride on our strength. The Bearcats could use some strength here, Doug. 36 and change to play, down by 2. What are they looking for?
Well, I like to go 2 for 1 now. There's only 6 seconds to get the first one. You don't want to hurry one up, but if you can come out with something that gets you a shot, a good look in the next 3 or 4 seconds, you want to take it. Now, if you don't get one, then you got to back it out, be patient, work something that you, maybe a high pick and roll, or Sessoms is going to have the ball in his hand, but you don't want to go too deep and miss and then have to foul with only 15 or 20 seconds left in the game.
Haukon Helmerson to inbound. Sessoms calls for Tinsley. Carter goes low. Sessoms against Ellison. Helmerson got it!
Oh, that was by design. They made Hartford switch the pick and roll. Sessoms could take Ellison, and they were kicking it out the entire way.
Hartford won't call a timeout. Carter driving, gets it to go. Tommy Dempsey calls a timeout. The Hawks recapture the lead on the back of their senior. And a timeout taken by Tommy Dempsey. The Bearcats put the trust in the freshman Helmerson. Hartford gets it in the hands of their veteran. And now Binghamton staring down a 1-point deficit.
Yeah, plenty of time though, 7 seconds to get the ball up the floor. Now, I recall the national championship game with Carolina and Villanova. They had just about the same amount of time. Whoever takes the ball out of bounds, now it won't be Sessoms. They're going to get it into his hands, but they have pushed the ball hard up the floor, and the guy who takes it out, nobody guards him, and they get a wide open 3 trailing. Now that's one scenario. The second scenario is maybe you want to try to drive something hard to the basket, and if you can finish, you can finish. If not, kick it back out, or maybe try to draw a whistle, maybe get to the foul line.
And as you know, to double bonus territory, shooting 2 by then.
Yeah. And the last thing that Binghamton has to do is, if you can get this shot up in 4 or 5 seconds, get everybody to the glass and maybe get a tip in at the buzzer, because a lot of times these games are won and lost on the second shot. Now, you got to really get a shot up quick with 7 seconds. You got to race it up the floor and get one up for that to happen.
And it's been those second shots that have been backbreakers for the Bearcats. Hartford has scored 27 second chance points. They've had rebounded Binghamton 46-28. But now the Bearcats with possession, trailing by 1. Binghamton led by 24 today. They sprinted out to a 28-4 advantage. But Hartford kept chipping away. And now it's up to Binghamton to keep their playoff hopes alive.
They took 0.2 of a second off the clock as well. 7 seconds. Well, you see Helmerson wide open here at half court. Will they go to him?
Into Sessoms. A lot of ground to cover. Long range three. Tinsley, no. The Bearcats wanted a call. They don't get it. Hartford escapes Binghamton with a 1-point win. So the Hartford Hawks erase a 24-point deficit and get out of Dodge with a critical win. A last look at the Sessoms 3. Tinsley on the follow. Binghamton thought contact on Tinsley, and it was the box out from Michael Dunn, who was so stellar down the stretch. That's the game changer. The Bearcats let one get away, but Hartford comes up with a critical road win. Doug Walsh on the floor with winning coach John Gallagher.
Came back, deficit, how'd you do it?
My Uncle Joe. God bless Billy. He used to say, life. You know what? At halftime, I said, you know what? Sometimes we don't have no April to analyze things. This was a crazy glue and tape win.
All right.
My Uncle Joe would be proud.
Yes, he would. You got one more on the road, and then you go back home. What are you going to work on going forward?
Well, we went to that seed Wednesday night at Stony Brook. Let's put a little pressure on them. Let's go for the 2 seed. Why not?
Great tonight, Coach Kelly.
And I'll say this. We're playing right now. They're a top 5 team in our league, and I said it to our team. So I give credit to Tommy and the group. He's a first-class guy, one of the best coaches out there.
Yep. Thanks for your time, Coach.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Back to you.
Duber, John Gallagher, and why not? His team erases a 24-point deficit. They get contributions from everybody, and it's the unlikely hero Michael Dunn who drills 2 threes late to guide them to the victory. Hartford improves to 8-6, and their push for a potential 2 seed takes a huge step forward. And now Binghamton has to put the pieces together with 2 games coming up on the road against UMBC and the Hartford Hawks. Then you can join us Tuesday, more Binghamton athletics. We'll be outside. Men's lacrosse hosts Bucknell at 4 p.m. on ESPN+. And then on Wednesday, a full boat of hoops. Hartford against Stony Brook on the road, 7 p.m. ESPN+. BU men down in Catonsville to take on the Retrievers. A 7 p.m. start on ESPN+. And we'll have you covered here from Vestal. The BU women host UMBC